everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and welcome to another TV episode review series. So today's TV episode I'll be reviewing today is the Orville episode New Dimensions. And before I get into this episode, I would like to remind everyone that new videos will be posted up every Sunday. It could be Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Sunday evening, depending on when I can get the videos posted up. And if you happen to see any videos posted up during the week, that must mean there was a bit of TV show or movie news released during the week that I wanted to cover. So those would be considered special videos. And every Monday, I would have the TV episode roundup series where I go over all the TV episodes I review for the week, and I go from worst pick of the week to best pick of the week, and those will be posted up every Monday. So now let's get into this TV episode review of the Orville New Dimensions. So what happens in this episode is that it turns out that Kelly finds out that John Lamar is actually smarter than he lets on, and that he knows a lot about scientific stuff. But John is like keeping all this a secret because he doesn't want people to pick on him. And Kelly's like, no, you shouldn't have to hide your smarts from everybody else. You should show everybody how smart you really are. And she ends up putting him in charge of the scientific research team in the episode. And meanwhile, Ed finds out that Kelly was the one who was responsible for making him the captain, or convincing the overheads to let Ed lead his own ship. And Ed is like saying, how do I know that I'm good enough if somebody had helped me get into this position instead of me getting there on my own, proving to everybody that I'm actually a really good captain, when somebody else had helped me get through that. And that's pretty much the gist of this episode. So what are my thoughts about this episode? I thought this episode was really interesting. I like the fact that this episode really focuses a lot about Ed's turmoil of being captain. Like, he believes that he got into his position because he was a good worker and stuff like that. And when Kelly ends up accidentally telling him that she was the one who convinced the higher ups that Ed could be a really good captain, you see that Ed breaks down, and he's like doubting himself. He's like doubting whether or not he's a good captain or not because somebody else had to help him get into that position. And I like how the episode really explores what Ed's turmoil and how he's trying to figure out if he's good enough to be captain or not, despite somebody else helping him. But what the real highlight about this episode was that it really focused on John Lamar himself. Like, I feel like we're getting a lot more character development with John's character. Like, instead of being the comic relief like he is in he has been in the series so far, we start to learn more about John in this episode, and we learn that he's actually very smart. It's just that he's so afraid of what people think about him that he's like, I'm gonna downplay my intelligence so nobody would know I'm really that smart. And I think this dilemma really relates to a lot of people, like especially relates to a lot of kids who are very smart, and then they go through high school, they go through school in general, and kids tease them because of how smart they are, and they have to downplay their smartness just so they won't be teased. So I think this episode really helps relate kids, or relate to anybody in general who have to go through all that. Like, how kids or people are like very smart, but then they have to downplay their intelligence because they don't want to be picked on by other people. And I think this episode does a good job in showcasing the turmoils that John has to go through, and it takes Kelly trying to convince him, you're better than you think you are, and you shouldn't have to care what other people think about you, to really convince John, I should lead the scientific research team even though I'm not ready for it. So overall, I gave this episode 4 stars. It was a little slow at some points, and it wasn't a very action driven episode. But overall, I really did enjoy this episode. I like the fact that it developed John's character a lot more, and we also see more from Ed's character. We see him developing into becoming a captain, even if he was a bit upset about getting to this position with somebody's help, namely Kelly's. But overall, this is a really great episode that did a lot of great character development for the characters. So what do you guys think about this episode? Did you like this episode? Did you hate this episode? Please feel free to comment below, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter so I can keep you updated on any new videos I post up. And also, like my Facebook page, Rabbitearsblog's Best Comments. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.